Thank you for listening to Permission Granted. I'm your host, Juliet Ricci Lagman. Today we have the amazing Joey Tracy, trainer extraordinaire and kickboxer. Welcome, Joey.
Thank you for having me on. Permission granted. I've been looking forward to this very much. This is my first podcast experience, so
Oh,
this is kind of cool.
amazing. To fill the audience in, I'm 16 hours. I'm zooming from the future. I'm 16 hours
That's
ahead in the Philippines.
pretty even think about.
And Joey, you are in.
I'm in Washington State, in Snohomish County, where I met Juliet originally, last summer, I suppose, right? Last spring, maybe.
That's right. That's right.
Um,
And we trained together.
Yep, that's right. Personal trainer and awesome athlete relationship. And yeah, we did that for a few months before you shot over to the Philippines, which is where you are now. But yeah, so we're 16 hours apart, and that's
Yeah.
quite the
We're
difference. It's different.
It's amazing. And I will say, like, just talking about the move, when I was moving out and closing out the house in our house in Everett and
Yeah.
moving and lifting things, I was like prepared for it because of the training we
Mm.
had done.
Heck yeah.
Like,
All the
I was
squatting
so
in
buff.
and
Yeah.
the hinging and the squatting, and me always talking about form and stuff.
Yes. It was amazing.
Yeah, that's
So
cool. That's good.
let's start with your background. Where did you grow up and all the good things?
Yeah. Well, I am 33 years old,
Mhm.
and I grew up in Lake Stevens, Washington, small little suburban town that has grown a lot in the last decade or so. It's not so small anymore, but yeah. Gosh, I mean, I don't know. I feel like excuse me, everybody's story is different, but I also feel like everybody's story is like kind of the same. You know what I mean? I mean,
Yeah.
I understand there are varying degrees, but yeah, I was adopted at birth, and
Mhm.
so my parents are older. My parents are in their 70s. I have two brothers and two sisters that are in their like mid to upper 40s, and I'm 33. So as I was growing up, it almost felt like I was the only child in a way, even though there was five of us.
Yeah.
But they were so much older than me, getting ready to move out, already out, as I was kind of, on the come up as a child. So the family dynamic is good and positive, but it's different, it's pretty unique. Um, yeah, that's how I came up, and Lake Stevens is a great town. There's not a ton of things to do.
Mhm.
Um, I was just a normal boy, skateboard, basketball, whatever, running around the neighborhood, that kind of thing.
So, you are a trainer and a coach. So, how did you get
Mm.
into coaching?
Yes, that's a good question. Um, Gosh, well, I feel like I got into fitness in my late teens, maybe 18, 19. Just started lifting weights on my own just as a way to like almost like as a mental health practice, maybe even before I knew it was one, but I just knew that it was good and it was like a zone or a place that I could go to and like, I don't know, kind of reset. Um, and so I did that for a few years, and one day I'd been a part of different gyms in like kind of a low key, minor way. Maybe I was a janitor for a gym or just worked out at a gym for a while. But I met this guy randomly at a gym, and his name was Jason Morris. And we started having small talk, and he invited me to come train at his gym. Him and his wife had just moved to the West Coast, where I live, from the East Coast, and they
Mm.
were opening up a kickboxing gym. And so I wasn't a kickboxer. I never did any martial arts ever in my life. At the time, I was 26 years old. And anyway, I went over there and I did like a class with him, which he led, and it very quickly turned into coaching. So my love for fitness was already kind of intact, just at like a basic level. And when I went over to that kickboxing gym with Jason and his wife, they were the first ones that were kind of like, "We see something in you. We want to make you a coach, and we want you to coach these classes, and da da da. You should get certified as a group fitness instructor, and all these things." So it already been a thought of like that's kind of the lifestyle I want to live, the fitness,
Yeah.
personal trainer, da da da. But they were the first people to kind of give me like a coaching role, I feel. And that was about 6 years ago. And so I've been on that like coaching path for about 6 years. But I've been in fitness for probably over a decade, just in my own
On
way.
your own. Yeah. I
Yeah.
want to ask
Yeah.
you about the kickboxing, but we'll come back to that. First,
Yes.
I just kind of want to ask you about with the coaching, what this is kind of a blanket question, but like
Yeah.
what for you, the fitness lifestyle, what has it brought to you? Like what
Yeah.
benefits did you find when you started getting into fitness?
That's a great question because I feel like fitness is such a broad thing. I also feel like it means different things for different people.
Hmm.
In the very beginning, I think it was aesthetic. I have to just be honest. It's not really that anymore. It's funny. I'll go back to your question, but I'm probably the most my body's probably the most aesthetically pleasing now than it's ever been, and I care the least about it now.
Yeah,
But
because
in
you
the
don't have to think
beginning, that's
about
kind
it.
of what it was. Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
care. I don't really give a shit about that. Excuse my
yeah,
language now.
of course.
But it's just funny how it is that way. But in the beginning, it was probably like that. Young guy, 18, 19 years old. You can imagine trying to, right, build muscle and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Right. You can imagine.
Is
Yeah. It just
is it
became more for me.
confidence? Like if we
Yes.
were to bring it to one word, it's confidence, right?
Confidence for sure. And also like peace and mental health, which is another broad term, but a stress reliever. And that's kind of what it means to me and what it meant to me then. And it still means that to me now.
Yeah.
Um, for me, my exercise philosophy, if you will, is like there's a part of it that kind of has to become your identity. I feel like you
Hmm.
don't have to be like, running marathons and like hardcore and like tell everybody about CrossFit and like like you don't have to like be hardcore, but it even if it's quiet, I feel like it should what makes it stick is that it's something that is a part of you. Like
Yeah.
it's just something that I do. It's a way that I express myself in the same way that someone sings or in the
Right.
same way someone paints.
It's
Um,
creativity.
yeah, and it's just kind of become a part of who I am. Um, so I don't know if that answers your question, but
That absolutely does. Well, since we're on this path, I want to talk about the obviously there's confidence benefits, and I can speak to that, of what I experienced with you over the summer, but I want to touch on the mental health piece.
uh,
So, I know we hear all the time, go for a walk, you'll feel better, et cetera, et cetera.
yes,
But my question is, how quickly do you benefit in the mental health realm from like working out? Is it
yeah,
after one workout, or like how quick of a hit is it?
that's a good question. That's a really good question. Wow. Um, Yeah, I don't know because I still feel like, there's still things in my life where I'm like, yeah, that still sucks. And I still go back to this all the time and I still struggle with this and this is in my mind. And so, um, sometimes long term things get better, like
Yeah.
confidence. Like that's a long term benefit. That's not a session benefit, although it could be in a micro way, like, oh, I lifted this thing that could
Yeah.
give confidence. But confidence is something that comes long term. I do feel though there are some sessions where I do get, you know, a mental health like boost or like uplifting feeling within the session or maybe at the end of a session.
Yeah.
Um, and there's something chemical to that your body is releasing endorphins and you're working and it's like once you build up that sweat and you're feeling good. There's
Yeah.
something about that. You walk out and you're kind of feeling um I don't know, just good about yourself, right? Not, but also even saying feeling good about yourself. For me, I'm a very aware person, and that can be a slippery slope. a
Hmm.
dangerous place to go of like, oh, I can only feel good about myself if I exercise or right. You don't want to slip into that because I think that people are worthy as they are already,
Yeah.
right? And then exercise is like an added thing that you do for yourself. But that's not your worth uh by itself flat. You know what
I
I
think
mean?
like I always like working out in the morning because I have this like sense of accomplishment that I take with me the rest of the day, and I've checked that off. If I personally, if I and we could talk about philosophy and all of this, but if
Yeah.
I wait till the end of the day, I just won't do it. Like it's not happening.
Yeah. And I think that that's fair too, right? Like
Yeah.
some people, yeah, it's like just how your body works and your schedule and like your energy levels, right? Like in the morning, you're like, let's freaking go,
Yeah.
let's get it over, we'll be done.
Yeah.
Um, totally. As a coach, I mean, today is Friday, so I coached a 5:30 a.m. class today. And so, right, it's, my time, it's about, 4 something p.m.
Yeah.
Um, so, but yeah, those people, they prefer to get it in and beat it. Now, that's pretty early, right?
Yeah.
That's pretty
It's a
early.
little early.
That's an extreme for sure. Not as to do that. But then some people, on the flip side, there are days where I coach at 5:30 p.m.,
Yeah.
you know, and people prefer that, so just
Yeah.
depends on who you are and, you
And
know,
what your schedule's like. Um,
yeah, what works
let's
for you.
let's talk about kickboxing. What is your kickboxing life? And let's also talk about the specific type of kickboxing because, maybe walk us through. There's a couple different types. Well, there's more than that. But what has your experience been with kickboxing?
It's been great. Yeah, I never really did any martial arts related things growing up. A lot of people get into Taekwondo or karate as young kids, and that's a great practice for everybody, kids and adults. But that wasn't me. I didn't get introduced to Jason and kickboxing until I was 26, so kind of
Mhm.
later. I knew about the UFC and all that stuff that's popular, but that's about it. So yeah, I've learned a lot in the last 6 years. The type of kickboxing really that I do would be considered Muay Thai kickboxing.
Mm.
So like going back to like Thailand. Um, and you could say it's my style is also Dutch inspired as well. Like you
Oh,
could say
wow.
Dutch kickboxing or, just think English folks.
Yeah.
Um, those people, the Dutch and the English, are really good at kickboxing, and so are the Thais, but in completely different ways, and they have completely different styles. Dutch kickboxing, in layman's terms, I feel is very, and you can imagine this when I speak about it, like very aggressive and like compact and like think of a tank just moving forward. Like I'm
Yeah.
like very aggressive, right? And then the Thais, they fight in like a pretty way. It's
Mm.
almost like art. It's just different, right? Where the Dutch are like coming to get you, you know. And then the Thais, they're doing that too, but they're doing it in a way that just looks like dancing almost.
I didn't
Uh,
know that it was Dutch inspired. I had no idea.
yeah, Dutch kickboxing. It's a whole genre of kickboxing.
Ah,
And like you alluded to, how there are more than a few types. It's like you can find kickboxing styles from all countries, all cultures,
yeah.
anywhere. There are many types I don't even know about. You know what I mean?
Well,
Uh,
so there's let's see, the different types of fighting. There's uh that are not kickboxing.
like boxing, for example, or do you mean like Krav Maga
Yeah.
and like yeah, Tai Chi, right? And
Yeah.
like some of those other like martial arts. Yeah, there's so
And
many.
UFC, is that the umbrella? Kickboxing is under that? Is that
Yeah, a little bit. So the UFC is like an organization, and their style of fighting is mixed martial arts. And
okay?
so like I could go into the UFC cage and fight as a kickboxer against a guy who maybe is more of like a karate guy or a wrestler type of guy. You know what I mean? So that's what the UFC is all about. That's what makes it cool is it kind of mixes different styles up. Whereas where I compete, I only fight kickboxers and we only fight under kickboxing rule set.
Okay,
You know?
yeah.
So the
Yeah.
fight is a very specific thing versus in the UFC, like, you might be on the floor, you might be on standing up, you might, right?
Yeah.
So
It's a little
uh,
more open or loose.
yeah, so it's more open in the UFC. They're doing different types of things. And kickboxing, the rule set is a little more confined. It's like,
Okay.
you
Which
know,
makes sense. What is in kickboxing, what is the rule about like hitting, what are the absolute no's when you're in the
mm,
ring?
yeah. Depends. If you're doing Muay Thai, there's actually more weapons are available. If you're doing like traditional Dutch kickboxing, less weapons.
Uh,
So, like Muay Thai kickboxers, they call it the art of eight limbs.
oh wow.
Mhm. So the technically that's one, two, three. So that's what makes Muay Thai so dangerous. The elbows. Three, four, and then you have knees. Five, six, and then you have your kicks. Seven and eight.
Okay.
So Dutch kickboxing, there are no elbows. You're not allowed to elbow,
Uh,
um, which is cool, and it makes each rule set kind of unique.
yeah.
But you asked like, what are the no nos? Usually, in pretty much all kickboxing and in UFC as well, you're not supposed to hit behind the ears, so the back of the
Oh,
head,
okay.
right? The back of the head, and also the spine,
How about
spinal.
the face?
Oh yeah, that's free reign.
Seriously?
Everything. Yeah. It's a very crazy sport. It's very violent. Um, but yeah, the back of the head and the spine can't touch there. Martial arts is weird because it's so violent and aggressive, but also the people that do it are generally pretty nice.
Yeah.
And a lot of people do it for reasons other than the violence.
Yeah, yeah.
But that's just the way that we get there. It's a strange thing.
It's like jujitsu, maybe in that way where
Yeah.
you have that like really good workout kind of a thing
Yes.
and camaraderie.
Yes, community is big in fighting, which is you might not think that because you only go to fight by yourself when you're out there, but you only get that good with a team.
That's right. And you train with the team
It's
and all that, right?
every day the
Mhm.
same people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It is really a team. It's just that when it's game day or fight day, you only see one person, unlike basketball or football where everybody's out there together,
But
right?
having that support is so important, like just so you can get through, or somebody can step in, or you can have a pep talk or
Yeah,
whatever. Um,
totally.
what has your like actual fighting experience been like?
For sure. Well, in my opinion, I started a little late. I mean, I didn't even start martial arts till I was 26. To me, I felt like I was the old guy, even at 26. How silly is that? I'm
It's
33 now, but
not.
I felt like I was the old guy, like, oh, I'm going to fight, and these guys are 22, 18, 19. You feel kind of like you're on the end of it.
Yeah.
But, my fight experience, it started in I believe my first fight was January 2021, I think. I think COVID had just hit and we still fought, which is crazy to think about. It was kind of like under the radar a little bit. We probably shouldn't have done it. Um, but we did. So yeah, I think I've had so I'll say this, you can either sanctioned fights and then there are smokers. So
Oh,
sanctioned fights happen under organizations. It counts towards your record. Like there are officials, like it means something.
yeah.
And then smokers, they mean something too, but those are more like practice fights where it's like you just go to somebody's gym and you fight some guy that you've never met and it's not that hard, it's not that serious.
Yeah.
Um, so I think I've probably had about 10 or 11 fights total. Um,
Okay.
probably probably 5 or 6 sanctioned fights, like fights that really mean something. Um, and then the rest of them just, little kind of mini fights that aren't that crazy.
Yeah.
So, but and everyone's fight schedule is different. Our sport moves so fast. I don't fight that often. I'm not super active. You know, 10, 11 fights in 6 years. It's a lot for me, somebody who didn't come from a fight background. Like the
Yeah.
fact that I've had that many is actually a big deal. I shouldn't downplay that.
Yeah.
But in the fight world, that's not really that many. You know what I mean? Like
What's
you
like a
might meet somebody with
typical?
like 50 fights. You know what I
Oh,
mean? Like it's
wow.
yeah, it really honestly and more. Like it depends on what country you live in. Like the Thais fight like every weekend.
Yeah.
Like they're crazy.
Yeah.
Over here on the West, it's like, yeah, I got to fight in 3 months. And then after that, I got to fight in 6 more months. And like, we take our time with it a little bit. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, so I've had about 10 or 11 fights. I still consider myself an amateur kickboxer. I'm not a professional, maybe a high level amateur, somewhere in the middle of amateur and pro,
Yeah.
but I'm not calling myself a professional kickboxer, but we're close,
Yeah.
you know?
Um, okay, so talking about kickboxing, so people, if they want to, and I usually do this at the end, but I'm going to kind of start here. Um,
Yeah.
so people can find you at Wildstyle Gym, right?
Yeah, that's where I learned kickboxing,
Yeah.
and that's where I spend stinking 80% of my time. Most of my coaching happens there. I met you at another gym, and we did some other one-on-one type work.
Yeah, let's talk
Yeah,
about that too.
yeah, yeah. So kickboxing, that's Wild Style Gym in Snohomish, Washington.
Yeah.
That's you can find me there, and you can find a whole bunch of other things there too.
Yeah.
So I don't own the place, I don't run the place, but I am definitely a integral part of the gym, I would say, and a big part of the staffing team.
Yeah. And the coaching and all of that.
Yes, been there a long time.
And then we met at Early Bird Coaching in Snohomish.
Yes, yeah, which is like a mile away from the Wild Style Gym,
Yeah.
ironically. And that is a great place as well. I
Yeah.
started coaching over at Early Bird Coaching. I think you were my first client, maybe my second.
So
Like
amazing.
what was that in June of last year or May,
Yeah.
maybe a little. It was amazing, and you were the perfect first client, second client to have to get there. Because now I'm working in a gym that is not my typical environment.
Yeah.
And for some reason, I don't know what it was. You and I, we met, we had our assessment, and from day one, ever since we started training together, we just have, some people just click. You can't explain it.
Yeah, absolutely. We would have dance
We do.
parties.
Yeah, for sure. We're both like silly and lighthearted.
Yeah.
We dance around when the music was good and just be silly. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
good music.
Uh,
I just feel like if you're not having fun, what's the point, right?
yeah,
It's like,
totally.
why not make
Yeah,
it fun, you know?
totally.
Yeah.
Especially stuff that is hard,
Yeah.
like already hard.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I always enjoyed our time, and speaking of time, what is, and I know we kind of touched on this already, but do you have like a general training philosophy that you bring to your coaching clients?
Mm, great question. You know, I want to be able to meet people where they're at. I would say, and you know, right now I work for a few different companies and gyms, and I've been working on building my own business, which, it's it's not fully there yet. It's a lot of ideation. But you asked about my philosophy, and the name of my new LLC is Movement Encouraged Fitness,
Yeah.
right? And so if I were to put my philosophy in like a small phrase, I'd probably just say movement encouraged, because it's like, for some people, a win is movement, period.
Yes.
Right? Like, we're not talking about heavy ass squats or getting their boxing gloves on and getting in a fight and all this extraordinary stuff. For some people, it's like, I did 5 squats and 3 push-ups and I walked more.
And it's a win.
And that's a win, right? Like,
Yes.
right? So that's, and there's levels to it, and um, but yeah, that's sort of my philosophy is like movement and courage. Get out there and move, you know?
When you and I started working together, like would constantly I would just couldn't, you know, the COVID thing, and this is like a common thing that you hear, but the COVID thing really messed me up. And
Yeah.
when you and I first started working together, I was huffing and puffing, and by the
Mm.
end of it, I could run upstairs without, breathing heavy. Like it's a
So
crazy.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so cool. And that's just your body adapting,
Yeah.
to new challenges, and like and then that's you and your mental capacity and your grit and your determination to like push through some of those early stages of uncomfortable feelings, and like that's super cool. I love that. And that is part of why I do what I do,
Yeah.
is that there's a real life benefit that you can see,
Yeah.
and it's a big thing. It's a big thing.
I would
Exercise is
say
hard, you know?
I would say like, all these it's common for people to put themselves on the back burner, like, not take care of themselves because maybe they don't
Yeah.
feel good about themselves or whatever. And,
Yeah.
I never understood, I really, truly never understood. And I'm 47, like, why would you exercise? Because you should be thinking about, I don't know, putting your energy towards making money or all these other
Yeah.
things. Or,
Other aspects of life. Yeah.
yeah, or I'm tired, so I don't want to move. So
Yeah.
that, 20, catch 22 of like, I'm tired, so I'm not going to move. And then you're more tired. So I never
Yeah.
really understood until you taught me like the true benefits of working
Yeah.
out and how it
Cool.
connects to the mental piece, of course.
Totally, for sure. And being able to connect to your body in a physical way, and understand, your own, not just you, but me and everybody, like our own ability, and what we're capable of doing. It's quite empowering,
Yeah.
Um, and if you're somebody who has had a lot of like mental struggle, or things happen that are very challenging, it's like sometimes, not always, sometimes there are other versions of therapy besides exercise that are better.
Yeah.
But sometimes going in and getting a good workout in and exerting yourself, it just kind of, it can work as a reset sometimes,
Yes. And I
and
think it's
remind you.
also like and I've tried everything, and this was the thing that, strength training was the thing that worked best for me, but it seems like it's like a multi-prong approach where it has to be, if you need therapy, go to therapy and you work out, not to
Yeah, for
do too
sure.
many things, but like you have to take care of all areas.
Don't sell your soul to one thing.
Yeah.
Don't dive all in. Yeah, and as I say that, I'm like preaching to my own self
Right.
because I feel like I sometimes do that, right? Like
Oh
all
my
I
God.
do is box, and all I do is exercise. So
Yeah.
it's kind of funny. Like there are other parts of my life that need some attention too.
Yeah.
On the extreme side of it, right? Like I'm past the don't get me wrong. There are days where I don't want to train, and there are days where I do skip, and I get a text from someone like, "Hey, like I wish you were at kickboxing. Didn't see you." You know what I mean? Like, and I'm in my bed, like, you know,
Yeah.
sleeping. So
Which
I
is
am
good.
human. Don't get me wrong. But for the most part, I exercise enough, and sometimes I need to focus on other things.
Yeah,
So
and I think we
uh,
all do that where things, it's like not everything can be perfect and balanced all at once, but you just chip away at different areas, as much as you
totally.
can. Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. And I want everyone to feel empowered to exercise. Like, remember that movement and courage if anyone's listening to this. Like, that's the
Yeah.
philosophy. Like, maybe it's like laying on your floor in the living room or in your bedroom and just like, I don't know, not even doing an official exercise. Just like, and my
Mhm.
back just cracked.
Yeah.
Right? It's like just like moving your hands around and moving your wrists around and like shaking yourself out. Like, even that can feel good. Even doing stuff like
Yeah.
this. Just like there's something about that mind body connection that I think is there's something there.
What, speaking of mind body connection, something I want to ask is how much have you ever, okay, this is really silly. Have you ever seen the show Cheers, the bar in Boston where everybody
Yep.
knows your name? Okay, how much in your training life or coaching life do you feel that you've brought that empathetic kind of you're like, the bartender philosophy where you're like listening to people's problems and then
Yeah.
reflect back. Like how much does that play into your personal coaching?
A lot. That's cool. I like that you asked that. That's a lot. I think that's one of my like natural gifts,
Yeah,
characteristics.
yeah,
Because in fitness, there's a lot of like edge and grit and hardness, and I can be like that too. Like I have that in me. You wouldn't be a kickboxer without that.
that's right.
Uh, but I also, in the very same breath, I'm also pretty empathetic and understanding. So yeah, I try to leave space for people.
Yeah.
There are no stupid questions and like concerns and um like
Something you and I always talked about is like your ability to like shapeshift in a way where you're like matching people's tone. If somebody comes
uh,
in a bad
sure.
mood or in a jovial mood or something like
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
And I'm trying to roll with it a little bit. And it
Yeah.
can be like that too. It really can be like that. I've noticed that especially with one-on-one coaching, group coaching, like at Wildstyle, where there's 20 people in a room, and you're dealing with different energies for sure. But the class as a whole kind of has an energy to it. With one-on-one training, right? You have one person 1 hour, another person the other hour, the other another person this hour. Sometimes there'll be four different people in 4 hours in a row that come in and out, right? And it might be me and you dancing around and like having not a care in the world, right? Just like
Yeah.
making dumb jokes and still getting work done and like and sweating and like I'm still correcting your movement. We're still working, but we're having fun, right?
Yeah.
And then it might, the next person that walks in might be like Eeyore, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
super low energy, just kind of like pessimistic, and like maybe they warm up, but it takes them like 30 minutes,
Yeah.
Um, then the person after that, they're like, there's something different, right? So
Yeah.
you do have to move around and shift a lot, and it doesn't bother me though. That's part of the mission, you
Yeah.
know.
And that's what I noticed. That's why I liked working with you because you were always able to be really well in talking about correcting, you were always able to be really gentle and encouraging, like really unique, I think, in the way you encouraged. And like even if it's like doesn't feel comfortable, it became
Yeah,
comfortable because you like encouraged your client to keep going, and
sure.
your
Yeah.
empathy was just unmatched, really.
Thank you.
Yeah,
That's really
I
cool.
appreciated
That's
that.
great feedback. Thank you for that. That's awesome. That's great feedback. That means a lot to me because I know there's, you know, sometimes that just can make all the difference in somebody's experience too.
Yeah,
And I'm a human too, so it's like I have a coach. I have and it's for kickboxing, right? Like there's
yeah,
somebody that teaches me kickboxing, right? And there are some times where it's like, we have our own unique relationship. We've known each other for nearly 7 years. But there's sometimes where I'm like, man, I wish I would have got that, or heard this or this and or whatever, right? So it's like
yeah,
I'm very hyper aware of that.
yeah,
And so I try to give my people like what I think, all the affirmation and all the positivity that I would ever want. You
yeah.
know what I mean? And I
Yeah,
freaking
and it's
shower it
like
on everybody else.
exactly, and it's like that style for me personally is like perfect. I'm someone
Yeah,
that needs a lot of encouragement, and so, it's so good to have that because in my experience, I've only ever had a couple coaches in my life, but and so I've never really had a bad one, but I loved working with you because, of that, your
for sure.
unique way of engaging. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you. And just to, be clear, my coach is awesome and he's
Yeah, yeah.
fantastic. we're just different. We got like different frequencies, right? Like he's
Yeah.
more like kind of a little more old school, a little more hardened, like, and I'm I'm a little bit younger and I'm in my feelings and stuff. You know what I mean? So like we
Yeah.
just have different approaches, right?
And
But it's good.
you don't necessarily, and I could be wrong, but you don't necessarily see that a lot where your coach is in their feelings because it's like you think, oh, this is just physical. Well, it's not. It's way
Yeah.
more than that. It's relationships. It's personal, you know?
Relationship, it's personal. Yep, there's a lot. It's people's bodies too at the end of
Right.
the day. So yeah, totally. But it's good. It's good. Exercise is good and it has changed my life. And the gym community is a great community. I think and not all of these things have to be for everybody. It's like, you want to find something that you enjoy.
Yeah.
Like not everybody could like do kickboxing the way that I do it. Like some people would absolutely hate it. The
Mhm.
schedule, the impact of it all. Like that's not everyone's lifestyle.
Right.
Um, and it's okay. Like maybe your lifestyle is like hiking or rock climbing, indoor rock climbing, or stinking bird sighting. I don't know, but you're out there and you do it in like an active way, right?
Yeah,
Uh,
exactly.
like finding something you like, yoga, whatever, right?
Yeah, and try different things. That's what I've done is like, okay, what's working, what's not, I thought
Totally.
I love yoga, don't get me wrong. I absolutely love it. And I thought, okay, that's going to be what saves me, but I try to incorporate it into my life, but it is not
Just didn't make
number
your
one.
heart sing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure.
Um,
Yeah, and community and finding your vibe matters. I think that's why working out, you and I like worked, because you weren't just going to do like a workout. That was the main thing, but we're also like there was a funness to it,
yeah.
you know?
Yeah, it was like, friendship and all that.
Yeah. We're getting together and we're doing this thing. Yeah.
I want to ask you on that note of like being a bartender and empathetic,
Yeah.
how do you recharge for yourself? Like, how do you fill up? And is there anyone and maybe it's your clients that kind of are empathetic with you and help
Yeah.
fill you up?
Yeah. It's a good question. Sometimes people do charge me up. Like sometimes going to a session or after a session ends or midway, like certain people will light me up or whatever. But that is a great question because sometimes I do carry different energies or different if I see 100 people in a day, which I don't know if I see 100, but I probably see 40, 50, maybe 60 even on a busy day because of the group classes. It's like that person said this one thing and it's stuck on me. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
there, you got to find ways to like let go of like people's stuff. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Honestly, it can be an Epsom salt bath.
Oh, okay.
It can be a nap, a little nap.
Yeah.
Um, it could be a lot of things. It could be playing a game or stretching out. Like I said, just kind of like getting on the floor and rolling around. I've noticed lately, I don't have really any problem lifting weights and doing kickboxing, but one thing that has been hard for me to do is recover
Mm-hmm.
physically. And so I've been working on that, like, getting a lacrosse ball or tennis ball and put it in my back and
Yeah.
getting my muscles worked out and doing a stretch that opens up my hips.
Yeah.
Um, Even that I've noticed like a physical and emotional combination too. Like certain areas of your body that are tight, you go to start loosening those things up. It's like it's mentally kind of challenging.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um,
So these are ways I might recover. You know.
do you find that like because you're around so many folks in a professional manner where you can't just always cut loose, like do you find that you require or because this is me, I'm speaking from me, like I
Yeah.
I crave quiet alone time so I can
Mm.
just
You
recover. Yeah.
totally. I'm
Yeah.
I'm just like you in that way. It's funny. I'm like I like to say that I'm a extroverted introvert.
Yep.
You know what I mean? I think we had this talk
We're matchy
before.
matchy.
Yeah, like I totally recharge like in silence and by myself and need to like I'm totally like that as well. So yeah, I need to have moments like that for sure. And
Yeah.
learning how to set boundaries for myself and
Yes.
give myself space. It's like I man, that has been its own evolution in and of itself. And I'm still working on it, but I feel like I'm coming on the outside of it, like it's getting better.
Yeah.
Um and ironically, sometimes being selfish, I feel is the most selfless thing you can do because if you prioritize your rest and you feel better, well, isn't that better for the people that you impact and influence?
I'm gonna
You
quote
know?
you on that. Let's say it again. So
Yeah. So
sometimes,
sometimes being selfish is the most selfless thing that you can do because it
yeah,
means that you feel good. And if
yeah,
you feel good, then you can give out better output,
yes.
you know?
Yes, I love that
Um,
so much. And that brings me to my next kind of question or comment. One thing that you taught me, one of the best things was that, we would be doing strength training, lifting weights, and then you would say, okay, we're going to take, you would time 1 minute of rest after the reps. And I have brought that philosophy to everything in my
mm,
life. And I think as a culture, it would be beneficial if we all did that in all areas of
interesting.
our life. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
super cool. Like, what's an example of something that you might put like a little pause behind? Like, could you think of anything?
Oh yeah, like I would say, even if I'm in the corporate environment and taking a walk outside, just around the block, like I feel energized after
Yeah.
that, like stepping away mentally or doing the dish.
Yes.
I do the dishes in shifts, like I'll do a chunk and then I'll step away
Mm.
and do something else and come
Yeah.
back.
Yeah. Yeah. Just to like kind of like reset a little.
But we have this philosophy in our culture or with ourselves of we got to push through, push through, push through. And I think the secret to your success is probably, like, I just couldn't believe that, oh, we're not going to do more reps. We're going to take a minute and rest so we can recover. Like, what? That's amazing.
Mm. Yeah, that's cool. That's really cool. I like that you noticed that and took that away in that way.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And you could bring it to anything, and I mean anything in your life, whether
Yeah.
you're moving furniture, reading a book, whatever.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally, that's so true. Even if like, if it's me or you or somebody listening to this that like, we don't know what your day is like, but it's like if you feel like you can't get away and you're like, I have no time to do that. Like even like three like intentional breaths, like no one knows that you're like taking a breather, you
Yeah.
know. You just know and you maybe just step off to the side and like breathe a little and like let it go and like
Yeah.
that even that can be
It's
good.
like remembering that you're human or something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, permission granted to relax. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? To be okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And not be a machine?
yeah,
Yeah. You
totally.
don't have to torture
Which
yourself.
I know you're the host of this podcast, and I'm not exactly sure where our time is. I'm not
Oh,
sure,
you're
but
good.
I have a question for you as well.
Yes.
What inspired you to start Permission Granted podcast? When did you start it? What inspired you to start it, and why did you name it that?
Oh, that's a good question. Well, I started it because, in a nutshell, my my stepmom died in 2023, and that was just a really pivotal moment for me because she, you know, was kind of well, she was a huge figure in my life, and she never traveled, and she had always talked about traveling the world, and she just never did. And kind of because she felt like my dad had passed away, in 2012, and she didn't have anyone to travel with, and all the things. And then my husband had prostate cancer in 2024. And then I was diagnosed with breast cancer. So all of those things combined, it was like a brick over the head saying, oh my God, life is short, go do what you want, instead of playing by the rules and playing it safe. So so I quit my job and I started working with a life coach, which was really pivotal as well. And she had a podcast, and she kind of coached me through starting my own podcast. Um,
Wow.
yeah, and I really enjoy the introverted extrovert thing, and talking to people in this kind of venue. And so it was just a really good opportunity for me.
That's
Okay, there was
awesome.
a third part to your question. Uh,
And that is how you came up with permission granted.
oh, yeah, so permission granted is just basically like, um, not that anyone needs permission from me or anybody else, but give
Right.
yourself permission to live your dreams. And, I think you and I, when we were coaching one day, I think it was your birthday, and we have similar birthdays, like close
Yeah.
in July.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I
Got an
think,
early July birthday.
yeah, and I think you asked me, what is my advice as someone, older? And I said, do what you want and do it now. And that was that,
Mm,
and I mean,
mm,
not to get
yeah.
all whatever, but, you know,
Yeah. That's
additionally, in 2013, my friend Ursula passed away from colon cancer, and she was only 42. And and then look at James Vanderbeek. He just passed away and he's 48, colon cancer. So it's like
mm,
life is short.
mm. Yeah, totally. That's yes. That is a lot to experience as well. Like 2000, your 2023 and 24 were pretty impactful, you know.
Yeah.
And yeah, you're right. Life is short.
Yeah.
Um, and you know, there are times in our lives where it feels like it's gonna last forever and it's so long and we're just gonna like we have infinity time. Like, but
Oh
there are
yeah.
other times in our lives where it's like, you know, there are these perspective changing moments where it's like, yeah, really, really not a ton of time, you know?
Yeah.
Um,
They
yeah,
say the days are long, but the years are short, and that is very, very true.
that
When you're
is,
in the middle of the drudgery, but you're work
yeah,
and you're training, and you're like,
yes.
but
You're
then
like,
you
I'm
look
never gonna get, yeah, yeah, yeah.
all of a sudden
Oh,
you're gonna
God.
be 43 years old, like a blink
Yeah,
of an eye, I swear.
for sure. That's so true. I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm trailing behind you. I mean, I'm just a decade behind, but I'm coming.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it's so true. Age is weird. Age is funny, but
Yeah.
it's natural, and you get perspective. You know.
Yeah, and I will say this, not to, when I was with my husband and my health challenges, we didn't, advertise it on social media. We didn't talk about it like, and say, oh, poor me, because I believe what you focus on is what expands. And I've really tried to work on that, in
Yeah.
my life. I've tried to battle those negative thoughts,
Yeah.
truly.
That's yeah.
Yeah, and I will say, with those kind of life events happening succinctly in the last couple years, it was like a whisper, like, hey, you need to go live your life. So I booked a trip to Italy, when my stepmom
Yeah.
passed. And then with my husband, I took another step towards living my dreams. Um and so did he. He became a yoga instructor. And that was like a shout, like, hey, life is calling, don't ignore
Yeah.
it. And then the
Totally.
third one, the brick over the head, was the breast cancer diagnosis. And after that, I just felt complete gratitude, because I was like, okay, it's clear to me now what I need to do. I need to live my dreams and stop fucking around.
Yeah. Totally.
Yeah.
That's cool. I mean, sometimes it's hard because a lot of the times we don't come to like these deep realizations without also deep like pain and like
Yeah.
hardship too. So it's sort of a catch 22. And although I haven't experienced what you've experienced, I've experienced hard things, and they tend to lead me toward sometimes, not always, but some enlightenment is almost too corny, almost too
Oh,
strong of a word.
perfect.
But you know what I mean? It almost does. It almost does lead to enlightenment. It's like, there are things that can break you in such
Yeah.
a way to where like the only answer is to just have like a newfound, perspective on life, like
Yes, you have to
as a whole.
see the gift in it. You have to choose to see the gift in it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally. And
Yeah.
I can relate to that, and yeah, and we grow and we grow. We're like butterflies.
It's true. I mean, I could have chosen to shut down and focus on the negative, but instead I chose to move to the Philippines. And, I'm really grateful that I did because
And that's another one of those moments for you where it's like, just go,
yeah,
and just
exactly.
jump, you know.
Exactly. Because
You did.
I
You
didn't
moved your whole.
know what was going to happen when I got here, and I didn't know how it would feel and how it would
Yeah,
all, I've been here almost 2 months, and of course I knew the weather would be nice, et cetera, et cetera. But I'm truly falling in love with it, in a way that I did not expect. And I want to kind of write about that in my next book for sure. Yeah.
totally should. I feel like this is such a big part of your life, this move, and it's life changing, really.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
it's
And I'm
cool. That's
really
super cool.
I'm really curious about like um the idea of like what happens when you really follow that inner compass and how far like can I take it? Like for me, for some people it's really easy to follow their dreams. I would think. I mean, of course there's naysayers and whatever, but
Yeah,
it's like they have no choice. Like they're doing the thing. But for me, I'm like, am I allowed? And that's
kind of
hence
feels like a fight, like a battle.
yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah.
understand. Yeah,
And that's where the win is when you have to fight through. It's like
yeah,
no pain, no gain, right? You have to fight through the tough times to get to the mountain peak, the place you've never been before.
totally, for
Yeah.
sure. And I love that. And that's so true. And, I see you as somebody who can do it. And, I see you as like an author and a writer and a creative and, and you really can. But at the same time, I empathize with you in that feeling of like, can I? Sometimes there's like imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
I had that with kickboxing sometimes as a coach. I'm like, "Ah, here I am coaching these classes. I'm like, I haven't been kickboxing for that long."
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know what I mean? Like, right?
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, no, and that's part of why I really like the name of your podcast and the name of my future business are almost exactly the same, even though they're entirely different because they are monikers.
Mm-hmm.
Permission granted, movement encouraged.
Right.
Like these are things that empower others. Like, hey, like permission granted. Like, go ahead and be empowered. Like, you can go ahead and do the thing. And
Yeah.
like, movement encourages like has that same sort of like empowerment like vibe to it, right? Like, um,
Yes.
and so that's really cool. Like, it comes out in even the name of your projects, right?
Right.
Like,
Right.
who you are. Right. And same for me. Like, if I'm going to have a fitness brand or anything that's attached to me, then I want it to speak to who I am,
Yes.
Uh,
I love that. And that sort of positive tone to it,
yes,
Uh,
yeah, yeah. It's really cool. It's like a safe place name. Like
oh,
you're the name, it's like, oh, this is a safe place, permission granted.
yeah,
Like,
exactly. Like what is
right.
your dream? Living your dreams, all of that.
Yeah.
Um, so we're gonna almost wrap up on time here. I have basically two more questions. One is, what are your future dreams, including the business and such?
Yeah. That's a great question. My future dreams, well, like I mentioned briefly, I LLC'd the Movement Encouraged Fitness, and I am I've I'm gonna do link up with a business mentor here soon,
Yeah.
and we're gonna figure out how to do this the right way because to be quite honest, I don't really know. Most of my coaching experience is like in someone else's gym, which is a great way to work.
Yeah.
And so I'm sort of in the transitional period of like, being a random trainer in a gym to running my own business. So my future goals and dreams is just to, within the next 12 months, 24 months, to one, like understand what a personal training business even is,
Mhm.
what it is that I offer, and like how can I deliver it, and what result I can actually provide and give to folks, and how do I package it up, right? So
Yeah.
my intermediate goals is just figuring that out, and we're getting really close, right?
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, might have a couple more kickboxing fights in the near future.
Ugh.
I'm excited about it. It's silly at 33 years old to say I'm getting old. That's a silly thing to say. But when it comes to fighting, it's like, I'm gonna try to get it out now because it's not gonna be there forever.
Yeah.
So maybe a couple more fights, but really, I just I want to dive in more on the business aspect of fitness and learn how to create something that like has my stamp on it and that is like that I'm behind, you know.
Yeah.
And
Um,
I love my kickboxing gym and I love doing one-on-one personal trainings at Early Bird, but I just feel like I'm in a season of needing to build something.
Well, and you have all this experience, and all this knowledge. And so
Yeah.
being able to share that and share, even I saw this thing on Instagram yesterday, something about, oh, it was about Trader Joe. And this is so silly, but this will apply. So if you think about Trader Joe's, they don't do online retail. They don't
Oh,
do um like the promos and discounts. Their stuff is already cheap.
uh-huh.
Their brand is the store itself, is the experience of going in the store and shopping
Mm,
and buying those really unique items, right? So the
yeah.
brand is
Um,
is not a layer on top. It's built into the store. And I feel like with you, whether you're traveling to people's houses and doing
yeah,
personal coaching, or you have a storefront, or both, of course,
for
you
sure.
the brand is you and it's in the store,
Yep.
and you can teach that to your employees.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you for saying that. That's cool because that kind of articulates kind of how where I'm going with it,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
There's a uniqueness to the coaching, to the program, to the relationships, and
Yeah.
that is sort of the store. That is sort of the thing in and of itself.
Yeah,
So
the
it's
way
cool.
you engage with people. Exactly.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that is the thing. Yeah,
The
totally.
brand.
That's
Yeah.
really cool. I love that.
Yeah.
Um, Fantastic. So
So I
yeah,
think
it's coming soon.
yeah,
All that.
I'm so excited. And I will say through my experience, like I had well, uh, you know, having an accountant is always good because they can help you with the business side of things. And then having the coach or mentor for your business is
Yeah.
really important. When I wrote my second book, I had a book coach.
Okay.
And I'm not shy about it because she got me to the finish line
Yeah,
in 6 months.
it was beneficial. Interesting.
Yeah. And
Super cool.
what I would say is, invest in yourself, whatever it takes, and
Yeah.
enjoy the journey, because the journey of like while you're learning how to do this and making your logo and doing all those things, that
Yeah.
is actually the fun part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. Thank you for that advice of like investing in yourself. That's good advice.
Yeah.
And enjoying the journey as well. Like, yeah. And as you go, sometimes I'm afraid to make mistakes, but it's like that's part of the process. And it's
100
funny too
million
because
percent.
right,
Yeah.
it's like that's like I know that too logically, right?
Yeah.
But like there's still like a fear of like, oh, has to be perfect, or you're like analyzing like the most small silly things that like don't even matter, when really you should just put
Totally.
it down.
Like embrace the excited to make mistakes. Like,
Yeah.
I try to do that. I'm not perfect
Yeah.
at it, but I try.
Yeah. Someone said too, I heard, I don't know if it was, I was listening to something on YouTube or whatever, but it's like mistakes are good and feedback is good, even when the feedback isn't like, doesn't feel that great, because then if you can look at it objectively, that can help you turn it around and make the next thing make more
100%.
sense, make better.
There's the Brene Brown has that book Daring Greatly, and the theater she bases it on the Theodore Roosevelt quote, uh it, it's I'll send it to you, but it's basically the ones in the ring. It's not the critic who
Cool.
counts, it's the ones in the ring doing yes. So you're in the ring, you're not sitting on the sideline.
For sure. I've used that quote before and
Ah, I
that's a
love
good
it.
one. Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Okay, I know we're getting close to wrapping it up. Let me bring back one question to you, and then
Yes.
I'll let you take it, take the reins. But what are some of the things you're looking forward to in your near future?
Oh yeah.
Do you have immediate goals?
Yeah, so when I came here to the Philippines, I was like, oh, I want to learn Tagalog, the local language, which I still do, and I kind of am. I want to take cooking classes. I want to go back to college and maybe get a
Yeah,
communications degree or, something like that. Um, right now, I love traveling, I love art, I love writing, I love all these things. But what I'm noticing is that I'm kind of getting it down to just writing my book. So I'm almost all these things are a part of me, but I'm just peeling away and trying to get to the nitty-gritty of what I love the most. And I'm not recommending this for everybody. This is just where I'm at right now. I'm like, okay, book
yeah,
focus is where I'm headed. So
yeah.
my next book is about the chapter after sort of finding my freedom is, okay, what do you do with that after? Like, how far do you take it? You know what I mean?
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, like dare to dream kind of
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah,
Exactly. 100%. And so there's
yeah,
that. I definitely want to travel. That's absolutely on my radar. I'm trying to figure out, I'm still always struggling. I know we're going a little long, but I also saw this thing that, forgive me for saying this, but the culture in America is money. And that really struck me because I've noticed it's the culture here in the Philippines is not really money, it's people. It's like the people are
Mm,
really warm, you know.
mm, interesting.
I'm not
Yeah,
saying across the board, but I'm just saying,
right.
you know,
No,
the way that they value community and family. I feel the warmth. Literally, when I walk downstairs, as soon as I walk
it's
out
a
the door,
different kind of like interaction with people and energy.
amazing. It's
Yeah,
amazing, and it's hard to describe even, but
yeah. Whereas
I
over
feel
here,
it.
it's like I almost feel like when I leave my house, and I'm a pretty positive guy, but it's just like a different vibe, right? Like you almost need to be protecting yourself. Not that I'm like
Yes.
super conspiracy or whatever, whatever, but you're just kind of like, man, like, is this person evil? Are they gonna hurt
Yeah.
me?
Yeah, and
You know?
it's almost like I feel like the hurting it's not physical, it's like with words or not using words. And
Sure.
that's the part that hurts so much. Like I
Yeah.
just felt this huge level of like loneliness, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, on a different level. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. For
So
sure.
crazy. But I will kind of wrap up there, but I just want to ask you, is there anything else you want people to know about you?
You know, I think we've pretty much covered it. I'm going to be here in Snohomish County, specifically Snohomish, the city of Snohomish, doing my kickboxing, coaching my kickboxing classes and my kickboxing boot camp classes, and working with my one-on-one clients over at Early Bird. My Instagram, I changed my name recently. I think now it's just Joey Tracy underscore.
Okay.
Um, that's a very simple name, but the reason why I can't remember is because it was something else very recently. But Joey Tracy underscore. My fitness channel is Movement Encouraged PT. The PT stands for personal training. Um, so I have an account there. But no, I feel we've covered it. Juliet is awesome. That's what you should know. And you should listen to this episode, and you should listen to the next episode and the episode after that.
I'll put all of that in the show notes.
Right.
Oh, thank you, Joey. You
So
are the
it's good,
bestest.
good stuff. Yes, and thank you for having me on.
Thank you. Thank you for being here. Thanks for listening, everybody. I'm so grateful you were able to join us today. Please share and like and review this podcast. Also, if you have any comments or questions about anything, I would love to hear from you. You can reach me at julietricci@gmail.com, and info is in the show notes. Till next time, have a great week.